"Hey," she said, looking up from the newspaper. "Want to try something new today?" He looked up from his book, a familiar weight in his hand. "Like what?" he asked, pushing his glasses up his nose. She shrugged, a playful smile on her lips. "How about gardening? We could use some color in this place." He considered it for a moment, the quiet hum of the refrigerator filling the silence. "Okay," he finally agreed, a smile tugging at the corner of his lips. "Let's do it." The car rumbled to life, a familiar symphony of engine and old upholstery. They chatted idly as they drove, the landscape a blur of green and brown outside the windshield. He tapped his fingers on the steering wheel, humming along to the radio. She flipped through a gardening magazine, her brow furrowed in concentration. They fell silent, comfortable in the shared space, the gentle hum of the engine, a comforting presence. He snuck a glance at her head bent over the magazine, sunlight catching the strands of her hair. He smiled. Back home, their routine was a familiar dance. He made coffee, the aroma filling their small kitchen. She unpacked groceries, her movements precise and economical. He read the paper, the rustle of turning pages, a familiar rhythm. She watered her plants, her touch gentle and caring. They moved around each other in comfortable silence, their love a quiet presence in the room. But today, something felt different. The air crackled with a new energy, a shared excitement for the day's project. The garden centre was a riot of colours and scents. Rows of flowers, their petals bursting with hues of red, yellow and blue, lined the pathways. The air was thick with the smell of damp earth and blooming life. She gravitated towards the roses, their delicate beauty captivating her. He lingered by the herbs, intrigued by their pungent aromas and practical uses. They debated the merits of tomatoes versus cucumbers, their voices a playful banter in the crowded aisle. They left with a car full of plants, their hearts full of hope and the promise of a shared endeavour. Back home, they surveyed their small backyard. The sun was warm on their skin as they rolled up their sleeves, ready to transform the patch of dry earth into a haven of green. He dug into the earth with gusto, his movements strong and sure. She followed behind, carefully placing the seedlings in the freshly tilled soil. They worked side by side, their movements synchronized, their shared purpose a silent language between them. He pointed out a worm wriggling in the soil and she laughed, her eyes sparkling with delight. The afternoon stretched on, the sun tracing its path across the sky. Sweat beaded on their foreheads as they worked, their muscles aching with the unfamiliar exertion. He fetched water, his hands calloused but gentle as he filled the watering can. She pruned leaves, her touch light and precise, removing the dead to make way for new growth. They fell into a rhythm, their movements becoming almost meditative, the silence broken only by the chirping of birds and the gentle clink of gardening tools. Shared silence, shared thoughts. As they worked, a comfortable silence settled between them. It wasn't the heavy silence of unspoken words, but the easy quietude of two souls who knew each other's thoughts. He caught her eye over a patch of lavender, and a smile bloomed on his face. She returned the smile, a silent acknowledgement of their shared joy in the simple act of creation. In that shared glance, words felt unnecessary. The warmth of the sun, the feel of the earth beneath their fingers, the satisfaction of seeing their garden take shape. It was a language they both understood. A bountiful harvest. By late afternoon, the garden was complete. Rows of herbs stood proudly, their leaves fragrant in the warm air. Tomatoes, cucumbers and peppers promised a bountiful harvest in the weeks to come. They surveyed their handiwork, a mixture of pride and exhaustion on their faces. The once barren patch of earth was now a vibrant tapestry of green, a testament to their shared effort and newfound passion. He draped an arm around her shoulders, pulling her close. "We did good," he murmured, his voice rough with fatigue but full of warmth. The evening table. Dinner that night was a simple affair. Salad from their own garden, the lettuce crisp and fresh, the tomatoes bursting with flavour. Bread, still warm from the oven, filled the air with its yeasty aroma. They ate slowly, savouring each bite, the silence now filled with a quiet contentment. They spoke of the day, their voices soft, their laughter easy. The setting sun cast long shadows across the table, painting their faces in hues of orange and gold. He reached for her hand, his fingers intertwining with hers, and they sat in comfortable silence, a shared sense of peace settling over them. Tomorrow's garden. Later, as they washed dishes, the last rays of the setting sun painting the kitchen a warm orange, she turned to him. "We should do this more often," she said, a soft smile on her lips. He nodded, his gaze meeting hers. "Yeah," he agreed, "we should." And in that shared moment, surrounded by the remnants of their day, they both knew that their garden, much like their love, would continue to grow and flourish with each passing season.